Why do the Aborigines of one tribe color themselves as skeletons? What heir of one of the richest families in the world could become a victim of a tribe? And how do young African boys turn into ruthless warriors? Today you'll find out the answers to these and other interesting questions about the most mysterious peoples of the earth. I continue to study the most ferocious Aborigines of our planet, and in this episode I'll tell you about even more dangerous tribes which are better not to mess with. Chimbu. You might think that this creepy people dressed up like this for a masquerade party. But no, painting bodies to look like skeletons is part of the ancient traditions of the Chimbu tribe. The tribe has a history of several hundred years, but the first contact with the civilized world didn't take place until 1934. So why did these tribesmen choose this particular coloring? The fact is that the legends of the tribe claim that since the beginning of time, the Chimbu people were devoured by an evil forest spirit. To solve the problem, the tribesmen decided to pretend to be spirits themselves, so that the villain would lose interest in them. Since the first contact, journalists were going to write about the life of the tribe. However, the Chimbu tribesmen live in isolation and are not eager to communicate with the outside world. The tribe is quite happy with their own beliefs, and any attempt to persuade them to become a part of the civilized world is perceived rather aggressively. Korowai. Actually, the Chimbu tribesmen can be called a peaceful people, which cannot be said of the more violent and aggressive tribes that live near them. The Korowai people, first contacted in 1974, are one of these tribes. This tribe people live in the southeastern part of the Indonesian province of Papua. The total number of tribesmen is about 3,000 people, most of whom have no idea about the existence of the civilized world. Houses in this tribe are usually built on trees. The ideal height is considered large, which is about 30 to 4 meters. The height protects the natives from attacks by wild people and people of other warlike tribes that live nearby. The Korowai people are convinced that all white people are possessed by demons and that it's necessary to get rid of them as quickly as possible. They think they need to get rid of white people by the most radical means. This is a frightening prospect, considering that the tribesmen still practices cannibalism. The Korowai people are skilled hunters. Their main weapon is a bow and arrow, and they're used not only to hunt animals, but also to track down other people, spies from hostile clans, and even unwanted white outsiders. By the way, it's the Korowai tribe that's often blamed for the disappearance of Michael Rockefeller, the heir to millions of the famous family. It's known that in 1961, Michael, in the company of a Danish anthropologist, went to explore the rainforest of New Guinea. The couple was seriously engaged in research, collecting a collection of artifacts and a lot of information about local traditions and cultures. In the morning of November 17, 1961, the researchers nearly lost their canoe while rafting on one of the local rivers. Their guide who had accompanied them went to get help, but it took too long for help to arrive. After hours of tedious waiting, Michael Rockefeller decided to swim to shore and bring help. After his expedition mate lost sight of him, Michael went missing. There are many theories about his disappearance, but one of the most popular is that he may have become a victim of the Korowai tribesmen, who may have mistaken him for a white devil who appeared from the river. Akuntsu. The history of this tribe is scary, not because the Aborigines turned out to be very cruel. No, it was the outside world that was too cruel to them. Scientists are still unable to say with certainty what happened to this Amazon tribe. Apparently, about 30 years ago, cattle farmers wishing to seize the land belonging to these Aborigines attacked them and then destroyed their dwellings to conceal the traces of genocide. 5 years later, the National Indian Tribal Society of Brazil found the survivors. Only 7 tribesmen survived. All but a child had bullet wounds. Only 4 have survived since then, and now they're the last people of the Akuntsu tribe. But why did the local Aborigines become the victims of the massacre by Brazilian cattle farmers in the 1980s? Before 1995, the Akuntsu had a reputation as dangerous Aborigines and, according to researchers, had little contact with the neighboring indigenous peoples. Before official contact, however, the Akuntsu had experienced violent clashes with white colonists, loggers, and cattlemen who began infiltrating their lands in the 1970s, after the construction of a highway near tribal territories. The 7 remaining tribesmen encountered in 1995 reported an attack by armed herdsmen around 1990, in which most of the tribesmen were killed. The research team that made contact was able to locate the site of the massacre. Examination of the village ruins revealed that at least 15 people were victims of the attack. Most likely, the attack itself was motivated by the fact that if the authorities were able to make official contact with the Kunsu, the tribe's territories would be recognized as a closed reservation, and thus it would be recognized as a place permanently closed to loggers and farmers. Not all tribes suffered the sad fate of the Kunsu people. Many of them encountered civilization and proved so strong and ferocious that they triumphed over it. Stay tuned to learn all the details and see other dangerous natives living in the most remote and unapproachable places of the world. Suri. This tribe is considered one of the most dangerous primitive tribes in the world, primarily because its people do not disdain automatic weapons. The last time the tribesmen used them was when they were defending their rights to independence during the war in Sudan. This closed community is bloodthirsty. Spear fighting is considered a special event in the life of the tribe. The battles are staged between men of different villages, each with up to several thousand people. Warriors join the battle unclothed, and brutal clashes sometimes end in death. In addition, such battles are also important to keep the tribe on alert because from time to time, neighboring tribes raid the Suri people. The Ethiopian government has officially banned such spear fights, but tradition has been stronger than the law. Totobigo-Sod tribe. In 2011, the UN issued a special decree requiring the government of Paraguay to ensure the well-being of the Totobigo-Sod tribe. These people were on the brink of disaster because of the systematic deforestation of their habitat. The first conflicts with the tribe began in the middle of the last century when farmers began to seize land for grazing. Then the conflicts led to many victims from both sides. A lot of time's passed since then, and some people of the tribe have even left it, having made a choice in favor of civilized life. But those who stayed have gone deeper into the forest and have become even angrier. So the Paraguayan government will have to protect those who are quite good at fighting themselves. Mercy. The Mercy people believe that every boy is born to be a warrior. Instead of gods, these people decided to worship the spirits of the dead, more precisely the spirits of the tribesmen who died in battle. According to tradition, the descendants will have to revere them forever. In order for the tribe to recognize the young boy as mature, he must prove his courage in several exhausting and dangerous tests. Everything from wielding a spear to basic tactical skills is tested. Fighting accompanies the men of the Mercy tribe throughout their lives. Regardless of gender, the Mercy people decorate their bodies with intricate scar patterns. To create such patterns, one must resort to rather brutal methods. Although the Mercy people retain almost primitive traditions in matters of appearance, they keep up with the times in terms of military affairs. Some tribesmen still prefer spears as weapons, but most have long ago acquired automatic weapons. Why not, when you can trade an AK-47 for 20 cows from a neighboring tribe? Yanomami. The Yanomami is one of the largest of the isolated tribes whose people live in South America. They live in the dense tropical forests on the border of Brazil and Venezuela. Of course, their isolation can be called relative because they still maintain some contact with the outside world. However, this does not prevent the Yanomami people from being considered one of the most aggressive and ferocious tribes of the region. Scientists know that these tribesmen usually settle in small villages and that the population of each such village is a sprawling family. The number of inhabitants in one village may vary from 40 to 300 people, but the statistics of the tribe's foreign policy are terrible. The Yanomami people are known as implacable and fierce warriors. Cruelty is part of their culture and is evident even in the daily life of the tribe. It's hard to imagine, but more Yanomami people die in battles than from natural causes. You may wonder, why do all these tribes go to war at all if they can coexist in peace without violating territorial boundaries? The reason is limited resources. In the wilderness, they're valued above all else. In addition, in the 1970s, gold deposits were discovered on what the Yanomami people consider their territory. It's not hard to guess that lots of seekers of easy money immediately rushed into these places. They brought with them diseases, alcohol, and weapons, which had a detrimental effect on the tribe. That's all, guys. Would you like to meet the Aborigines of some isolated tribe? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching and see you later.